likely to put in 5 or 6 hours of rehearsal even on a day of performance. Sometimes they find the energy to celebrate afterwards. Keeping 90 dancers happy and motivated is also part of his job.
When Baryshnikov started his directorship the beginning of last year, that was the starting of my first full year with ABT. And I was very leery that he was going to be able to be a director, a dancer, a choreographer. I thought maybe he was going to start making costumes and doing the makeup also. And I found later that in rehearsals for full ballets, he was fabulous. He got things done right away. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he kept up his dancing. And when he's in a rehearsal, people pay attention, and things get done automatically. And you need that because there's such little time for rehearsals. We have such a huge repertoire that you don't have enough time to rehearse everything fully.
Whether they're trained in Russia or America, all dancers share the same rituals and routines. But the means to achieve success may differ widely. During his early years as a dancer in Russia, Baryshnikov had a state scholarship. His living expenses were paid. The system looked after him.
The American dancers are much more independent, aggressive, because they are coming from all provinces, from East Coast, West Coast, from little studios, and trying to get a job in the best ballet theaters. And at the age of 15, they're on their own. In New York, alone, with no family, just hi, Mom, once in a while, if he has money to call a long distance, or have a guts to call collect. And they have no babysitters, like in Russia. Nobody's spending hours and days and months and years to educate them. And they have to pay for these classes. And when you pay, you learn fast, I'll tell you.
Some of the ABT dancers pay to work out at a gym.
You have a chance to work on strengthening just independent muscle areas. It's so important to have your body working in alignment. And you work on independent muscle patterns. You kind of train their memory better so that when you go and you stand up in the ballet class, they remember better how to work correctly.
These exercises really help perfect a lot of the things that I do when I dance, and that's why I do them. I could take class every day and become fairly well accomplished in my art, but I wouldn't feel so strong as I do with these. This is the frosting on the cake, I guess.
from the first time. It's a little bit different. So listen. Okay.
ABT has made its reputation with a strong classical and contemporary repertoire. Since taking over, Baryshnikov is continuing to commission new works. He doesn't normally choreograph himself.
Look, it's very important.
I don't think about myself as a choreographer. I don't think I have, I would say, obvious talent to choreograph ballets. For me, music is very physical, and just I can close my eyes and just to be with music. But I'm not trying to imagine dancers moving. It just doesn't work.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lift the girls up on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lift the ball.
I'm really convinced the choreography, it is the form of art which you have to be born with. Before I left Russia, I knew a lot of people who was roommates and classmates with George Balanchine. And they're saying me in Russian, you know, like, Georgy Balanchiladze was always, I remember him, I mean, the tiny little boy, he was playing piano all the time with a hair like that, playing piano and saying, I would do a dance like that, I would do a dance like that, you know, on this music. It was his desire since he was very, very, in his choreographing from his teens, you know. You have to want to choreograph more than anything else in the world, then, and plus have obvious talent. I don't have any. I have a desire, and big desire to choreograph, but I'm always stopping myself because I can't. Simply as that.
Chu Sang-go is one of the first choreographers invited by Baryshnikov to make a work for the American Ballet Theatre.
Well, it is, to commission the ballet, it is like buying a watermelon without a touching. You know, some watermelons, you like, oh, it's a good sound. That means it's really, really sweet, you know. But just to look at the watermelon doesn't give you anything yet, you know. And you're buying an unknown product. You don't know what would happen, you know. You have to just trust this man.
2 after. It's in a phrase of 3, but let 2 go. I think I prefer that, so it goes like this.
Trained as a dancer in Singapore, Chu Sang-go is now chief choreographer of the Washington Ballet. In the past few years, he's been invited to create numerous works for leading companies in Europe and America.
Yeah, ready? Do it to that music over there.
Actually, I have seen a lot of Chu Sang's work in the past few years. From my point of view, he's one of the few young choreographers who has musical instinct and kind of energy, and he works so productively with such a happiness, you know. He never suffers. He is very sure what he is doing.
The ballet, set to music by Samuel Barber, is created for 13 dancers, including 4 women, a principal and 3 soloists. Today is the first day the women have worked on this section.
together. And ya, da, 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 arms. And then go in here and out and go. Right, so quick, Elaine. Da, 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 da. Arms and in.
Throughout rehearsals, Chu-san is helped by ballet master Terior, who must learn all 13 parts. He'll be responsible for the life of the ballet after Chu-san Go has moved on.
Now, by this time, I would be here, and Becky would be here. By this time, after you've done. Okay, after you've done. Now, then we do the second time. No, you have done once. Okay, and come up to about this position, we go round again. Da, da, di, da, 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 di, da, di, da, da, da. Like this, right.
He comes to the rehearsal knowing already what he would like to see it. He does his homework wonderfully. He prepares a map in his head. Some choreographers say, try something like that. And you're trying to show him variety of the steps. Little jump, it can be done that way, it can be that reverse, with one leg, up and down. Chu-san knows what he wants.
I'm very precise in dancing, and I like to do things as quick. I move very quickly, so that in itself influences what on my ballets. Also, especially also in configurations that you can see that the movements some of the movements are really sharp and very quick, and it flows a lot. And I've always liked ballet that gives a kind of a freedom of flow and freedom of design of dancers' bodies on stage, and in a way of an unexpected designs. Run maybe just a little bit more than the first time, otherwise we can't come back to the same place, yeah? Walk, 1, 2, 3, hold. Ladies, go, ladies, men. Now take your time, take your time. 1, take 2, so slow, yeah. Okay. Straight up, body forward. Di-da-ya. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ram, ba, da 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 da, ya, da 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 ya, ba. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Mariana, where were you? Where were you?
Principal ballerina Mariana Cherkassky is Baryshnikov's frequent dance partner. At this point, the dancers are still struggling to sort out their stage positions.
You're waiting for somebody? Yeah, they have to look up for you because there's no way that you're going to look up. It's much easier than you having to look like this. If they have to look up, they just like... You don't have to go for it. And they have to look up for you. You're a principal. You don't look up for the corps. Let them look up. Gentlemen, you know, before Mariana comes on, she's not going to look up for you. You have to look up for her, yeah? You have to look up for her.
When I'm a dancer, I'm just his instrument. And if a choreographer are not asking for a suggestion, you shouldn't give him any.
Basically, I based the ballet is based on classical technique, very classical technique that they do every day in class. And they have to be very good at that technique to do this. Yeah. But the upper body kinds of flow with more freedom than, let's say, in Swan Lake, in the classical ballet.
Chu-San-Go's movement is an extension of your classical technique, but it is the use of his upper body more than what the legs and feet are doing that is so interesting. And his sense of musicality also, the way he brings the music alive with his movement. It's hard to describe because what I love about watching Chu-San-Go is I watch him and I feel like he's creating right at the moment. He hears the music and he starts dancing and he moves and his body just moves in wonderful ways, and you look at that and I find I can sort of imitate him, but the minute he's not there in front of me, I just feel completely lost.
4, 5.
I feel in contemporary works in Chu-San-Go's ballet very much so. He choreographs, but he also leaves you that little bit of freedom to interpret it. Whereas in classical works, a lot of the choreography is very set.
Okay.
And, you know, it's something from your inside that you bring to that may make it different or special. But as far as the basic steps, they are set, and you have to do them as correctly as possible.
Step, down, D. 1, 2, 3. Bump with the piano. Bump, bump, bump.
Configurations draws both on classical and thoroughly contemporary techniques, and the music is modern. Chu-San-Go has set his ballet to the piano concerto by Samuel Barber. Barber wrote the concerto in 1961 specifically for the American pianist John Browning.
Mr. Barber wanted to write a virtuoso concerto in the late 19th century style. And I think any pianist who has tried to play it realizes how difficult it is. And it's not only difficult technically for the pianist, but it's very difficult for the orchestra and very difficult to put the two together.
Browning worked closely with Barber while the music was being written, and he's delighted to be present at the creation of the dance as well. He knows at first hand the problems posed by the score.
He had heard me play a work of Debussy, a prélude called Les Fées sont d'exquises danseuses. He was very fascinated with the sound, so he wrote... It's a nightmare to remember, and it's terribly difficult to play, and after 400 performances, it never gets easier.
The mood of the Barber concerto changes rapidly, as does the rhythm.
When you stop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 2, Charlie, go on 3, 4, 5. Yeah?
Dance music usually has a steady pulse, waltz time or march time, 3 or 4 beats to the measure, regularly repetitive like clockwork. But Barber's music constantly breaks these patterns.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Pianist Randall Baer helps the dancers count out its irregular beat.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, this is the 10th day, and we have done really quite a bit, and I think all of us are really enjoying what we're doing, and that's a very good feedback from the dancers. The dancers do play a big part in the creation of the ballet. You know, I don't think they should be spoon-fed with all the steps. I think they should, when you do something, they must give you a kind of energy that pushes you along, and you have to provide the energy to pull them together and along with you. I think it's a kind of a play interplay between you, the choreographer, and the dancers, which I find very important, and that kind of sparks creativity on my part. Yeah. Dee da 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 da. Yeah. Dee ya ba. Dee ya ba ba. Now it's okay. 1. You have to do like an entrelace, so you have to change. Sometimes we do a lift or a certain turn and things, and sometimes they fall out of it in a way that is natural to them, which I haven't thought of. I only have thought of until that particular point, and then they do something, and I thought, wow, that's a very nice way of getting out of that, and it looks very natural. And for example, yesterday in a filming session, we were doing this second movement with Misha and Mariana,